Welcome to our weekly Mitzvah Shabbos program. Today is before Pesach, so I want to share with you an amazing story of a true chassid. And the Rabbi looked over this story. The Rabbi made notations too. This is called a true chassid. The Rabbi said, this is what my shved, that means the fake Rabbi called a true chassid. His name was Rabbi the Masmid. My father knew Rabbi the Masmid. My father slept with him in one room. He remembers he lay in Krishma maybe 2 hours at night. Then he put a pail of cold water. He put his feet in the pail and he learned Torah. He was a chassid. He's called an emissar chassid. That's one. I want to tell you a story about him. Another story I want to say is about Rabbi Avram Sender's wife. My wife's grandmother, Baba. She lived till 115. She's buried near Rebbe Tzlachane. And on the Matzevi, you can see, it says there that she lived around 110. Because the Rebbe said that you shouldn't write more than Yosef HaTzadik. So, anyways, two stories. First, I want to say, before I tell you the story, I want to tell you what an emissar chassid means. And who can be a fabringer? This is what Rabbi the Masmid said, and he repeated what the Frierdiker Rebbe said. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, a chassid is a person that speaks less, thinks more, and does even more. But today chassidim shouldn't speak at all, because they speak what you're not allowed to. A fabringer, he said, must be a living example. Whoever fabrings must be a dugma chayo. And he learns chassidus a few hours a day. He davens with tears. He looks at himself, his matzav, his condition, and speaks benigeya avodah, how to refine himself. Then he can be a fabringer. Otherwise, he's not shachas to fabring. Not anybody can fabring. And that person that does an avodah and does lay Krishma Shalamito the he's supposed to, that touches the pnimius of the people that are listening. Today, the Rebbe said, the Frierdiker Rebbe said, chassidim fabringen, what do? They chanfe, they compliment each other, and one another. They find favor with others. And Rabbi the Masmid used to repeat these words from the Frierdiker Rebbe. Or they speak litzonis, uf meishav leitzim la yoshav, und they kleiben nachas. And that brings rechilus, lashon hara, shemra, and sometimes they even embarrass. All this comes that the fabringer, the mashpia, has to be a dugma chayo. And if he doesn't, then the whole fabringer is almost nothing worth. He thinks that he tells somebody off, this is called a good fabringer. That's what the Frierdiker Rebbe used to say. Each of the masmid used to, and more. The person should do tshuva al pi shechol dorach. Chassidim are pnimiyim. Chassidim make a cheshbon hanefesh, he writes. Chassidim are krishma shalamito. Chassidim bring light to the world. Older chassidim speak to younger chassidim. They should bend a little bit, and they should wash off their dust that gathers on them. And that Eibishter should help Chassidim be united don't embarrass one another. Special by Fabringen. The Mashpia must make a cheshbon and nefesh. Always, and that's when he can Fabring. And that's how each Rabbi the Masbid used to Fabring in this kind of a derech. And so from this we can learn what the Frierdiker Rebbe said. The same thing. I think it's a repetition. The Frierdiker Rebbe used to say that we should know that people that Fabring now, and Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of Fabring in it, but you have to know, not everybody can Fabring. And not every Shliach can Fabring. The person has to be a Dugma Chayo. Then we'll see Peiris from the Fabringen. Now I will read you inside a Meiser that Rabbi Yisrael Masbid and Mrs. Mindel. He says that the name Masbid he got when he was a bocher, learning in yeshiva. They didn't always see him with a sefer that he's holding in hand, but he had a good memory, and he was always thinking in Yiras Shamayim, and he was Rabitche, the Masbid was a big Bal Moichin, and the whole night it's a fatift in Torah. Many years, Rabitche the Masbid was a Rav in the city. So every Yontif after davening, every Pesach, Yomi the Pagre, Balabati used to come to his house, gather in his house, and he used to speak for them about Pesach or about Yom Tov, whatever it is. Rabbi the Masbi had a friend in his youth, and he always used to make for him mashke for Pesach from plums, and he was a rav in near the city where Rabbi the Masbi was. This mashke, from plums. And he always trusted him because he was a Erlechayid. Rabbi was very careful in Pesach. One time, the first day Pesach, people saw that Rabbi was Zeyer worried. And he looks like he's not feeling well. He looks nervous. His davening was not with a simcha, with a breitkite, like always. And after davening, he said, till him, long time, with hot tears. So when Rabbi came home to make Kiddush, it was already quite late. Already a full house was full with people. They were waiting for him to Fabring, Simchas Yontif. Nobody made Kiddush. So Rabbi started to speak Divrei Torah. He started making Kiddush. Never happened. And he started to say Tillim and didn't make Kiddush, and they saw there was something wrong. His wife came over to him and said, people are waiting, it's almost the Shkia. He didn't answer her. People asked him. Finally, all of a sudden, the door was suddenly opened up. A guy ran in, and he said, where is the Rebbe? Where's the Rebbe? I need to see the Rebbe. So right away they asked him what? He used to see the Rebbe. So he went to Rabbi at the house. So he told Rabbi that he sent from the Rav, the one who made the mashke for him, a neighbor Rav, that he should run and he should make sure not to drink this, not to make Kiddush, not to drink on this that he made the mashke from plums, because there was a mistake and it's chometz. So Rabbi heard chometz, he fainted right away. After a while, they put water on him. After a while, he got up and he started to sing songs and he started to dance. The most simcha dike yontif, 8 days. It was simcha dike yontif more than any other yontif, because the Eibishter helped him that he didn't fall through eating chametz on Pesach. He was the biggest simcha. That Pesach was the biggest ever was. The Eibishter fighting from Aveda. Now the Balabatim understood that why Rabbi was worried all the time davening, why he stayed in shul and what. Anyways, so this Maisa, there's much more to it, but I want to say the other mice. I have no time now. But that bothered him. This is called the emes chosid. As an emissary. So emes chosid is shaykhs to, I think, Ruach HaKodesh. He's something wrong. When Amihut Lamato hit me, I mentioned Lamailo. Now one more thing for my Bobby. She lived in Long Beach, Long Island, with Rabbi and Mrs. Mindel. Erev Pesach, they had to go to New Haven. So I went to pick her up, to take her to Borough Park, to her nephew. I ate a fine eat, it wasn't Chabad. And on the table, about 12 o'clock, it's a very long table. There was matzah and moray ready, and a jar of fish, basically, everything basically. I put her, she was then 103, 104. I told her she passed away 115. I put her on the corner, by the table. I stood over there, sitting and watching, looking. Then she says to her granddaughter, Miriam, come here. What is das? Far, what is that? All the way down to the table. Miriam says, Baba, this is a jar of Pesach fish. Good. 10 minutes later, again, Miriam, come here. What is das? Again he saw. Again she says, Baba, I told you. A third time, she took the fish, Miriam. She said, I'll show you. She gives a look. Little words, not for Passover use. They made a mistake in the store, and they bought ready-made fish, Pesach. They made a mistake. But she felt there's something wrong. This is called a holy woman. This is called a person that is mamish. Besides, it says that when you're over 100, that means you're higher than nature. But this shows how much a person, if a person is an emissary person, like Rabbi the Masbid, or like Rabbi, she felt there's something wrong. So this is a lesson that we can all learn from. Since now it's before Pesach, I'm sure everybody is busy. So we should have a chag kosher v'sameach. We say the word kosher because, why do we say chag kosher sukkis? Because as much as we want kosher, we need a blessing that should be kosher. Now, years ago, nobody bought ready-made. You see what happens when you buy ready-made. Nowadays, okay, there's achsherim. The Rabbanim say it's fine. So I guess it's fine. So we should all have a chag kosher v'sameach. The next 2 weeks, we're not going to have a program because it's Yontif. Next program will be Mitzvah Hashem after Pesach.